Hello everyone. In the last lesson, we studied about type conversion and the control statements. And in the control statement, we have studied two of the selection statements. And other than that, we are going to study in today's lesson. So, before starting, let us recall the previous studied topic, that is type conversion. Type conversion was to convert any of the data type into another data type. It can be in explicit form or in implicit form, and the control statements are used to control the program. That is, if you and the select statements are to select any of one of the condition to perform the execution of a program. If and if else was being studied by us, and today we will be studying nesting if else statement. So what is the syntax of nested if else statement? First we write condition in if, then in the if we will start a new scope, and there we will check condition 2. If condition 2 is true, then print the statement 1, else print the statement 2. And if the condition 1 is false, then it directly come in the else and print the statement 3. And other than that, closing the if else statement X is also printed. Now you can see, if the condition 1 is false, the statement 3 will be executed. As I told you, if this is false, this is executed. But if this is true, then in its scope it will check first this condition. If it is true, it will print this, else it will print this. Next we come up with the switch statement. Switch statement, what is switch statement? This Java switch statement is ideal for testing a single expression against a series of possible values. If we have number of cases, number of values, we will use switch cases so that we can get a correct result. What is the syntax of switch expression? Switch expression, switch, the keyword switch, then the expression in the braces, parenthesis, then the curly braces. First we will start with the case 1. Write case 1, then statement 1, then break to come up with the next. That will terminate it. Then statement 2, the case 2, then statement 2, then break. This goes on until and unless all the cases are finished. Final will be the default if there is no case. If all the cases are not being satisfied, then default, it will print default statement, then break. Finally the curly braces are closed and the program ends. Now what are the iteration statements? These specify how, when and when looping will take place. These are of three types. Looping means if we want to print or we have to execute any of the condition number of times, or we have to execute a process number of times, we will use looping. That is iteration statements. And looping or iteration statement are of three types: for statement, while and do while. First we will study for statement. The first line for a loop enables you to specify starting value for a loop counter. First you will initialize the value of the counter, then the condition, and then finally you will increment it. As you can see, the syntax loop syntax for loop: first initialize, then the condition, that is test expression, and then increment, and finally the statement. For example, for count semicolon count is less than 100 semicolon count plus plus system.out.println count is equals to plus count. Okay, so in this example, the initialization value of the for loop statement count is 0. As we have initialized count is equals to 0, the test expression is count is less than 100, true, because 0 is less than 100, indicates that the loop should continue as long as count is less than 100. Finally, the increment statement increments the value of the count by 1 and long as the test expression is true. तब तक कि ये काउंट को इंक्रीमेंट करता रहेगा जब तक कि काउंट इज लेस देन 100. जैसे ही काउंट 101 हो जाएगा, ये स्टेटमेंट फॉल्स हो जाएगी और ये ब्लॉक बाहर आ जाएगा. ओके, नेक्स्ट इज द वाइल स्टेटमेंट. रिलेटेड टू द फॉर लूप इज द वाइल स्टेटमेंट. ये भी लूपिंग का एक पार्ट है. The syntax for while loop is while, the while keyword, then in the parenthesis condition or boolean expression, and finally the statement. As you can tell from the simplicity of this, the Java while loop does not have the built-in support for initialization and increment variables. जैसे कि हम फॉर में इंक्रीमेंट और इनिशियलाइजेशन दोनों साथ करते थे, इसमें नहीं कर सकते. इसमें लूप चलाने से पहले हमें इनिशियलाइज करना होगा और लूप के बाद हमें इंक्रीमेंट करना होगा. सो एज यू कैन सी इन एग्जाम्पल, वी आर इनिशियलाइजिंग ओवर हियर इंट काउंट इज इक्वल्स टू 0. हमने काउंट को इनिशियलाइज कर दिया 0 से. उसके बाद हमने कंडीशन चेक करी वाइल काउंट इज लेस देन 5. इज इफ काउंट इज लेस देन 5, द स्टेटमेंट system dot out println is printed and count plus plus, that is increment, will be performed. If this is not happened, it will come out of the loop. Now next is the do while statement. The final loop construct in Java is the do while statement. Do while का मतलब ये है कि हम जो भी कंडीशन लिखें वो ट्रू हो या फॉल्स, एक बार तो स्टेटमेंट प्रिंट होगी ही होगी. दैट मीन्स डू दिस व्हेन this happens. So do, the syntax will be do and then statement. फिर एक बार उसने बोल दिया कि ये करो, उसके बाद चेक करना. That means do statement will be print the statement, then check while boolean expression. Then next come up with the jumping statements. Of course, it is not always easy to write all your for, while, do, while loop. For that, they are easy to read, and yet the loop terminate on exactly the right pass through the loop. First will be the break statement. In this statement, you can have you have saw in switch cases you have saw break statement. Using break statement, it is in the similar manner. Break can be used to exit a loop. ब्रेक हम तभी यूज़ करते जब हमें कोई भी लूप को एग्जिट कराना है, उसके बाहर आना है. सो लेट्स से इंट ईयर 1909 वाइल डिड कब्स विन द वर्ल्ड सीरीज, वी विल राइट द ईयर इज इक्वल टू फॉल्स. अगर वो फॉल्स है तो प्रिंट कराओ डिडंट विन इन दैट ईयर. अगर इफ ईयर इज ग्रेटर देन इक्वल टू 3000 तो प्रिंट कराओ टाइम टू गिव अप, गो वाइट सॉक्स and break. If this happens, it will break the statement, that is finish the loop and come out of the loop, and print system.println loop exited on year plus year. And finally we have second statement, that is continue statement. Just as a break statement can be used to move program control to immediately after the end of the loop, the continue statement can be used to force program to control back to the top of the loop, that is to continue the same process one by one. Thank you everyone. This course contains the arithmetic the operators, the type conversion, the control statements, and the next lesson will be surely come up. And thank you for watching this. If you have any query, please comment it down.